I'm very happy and with a sense of pride that I'm presenting Marcus Filipsson. Marcus was one of our first graduates in this program that was born in 2014, and one of the best. And he was also the president, and he served as the president and the vice president of the society. So whatever he achieves in his life, we feel very proud and very honored to have him here now as a colleague, many years now as a colleague. And I asked him to talk to, especially to students, about his degree experience, but also his experience as a graduate with the essentials, the skills that he acquired from here. And I think that his speech will be very useful and very inspiring. Marcus, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Livadi, for a very kind introduction. So yes, my name is Marcus Filipsson, and I'm a graduate from the RE class of 2018. And today I want to talk about sports management from theory to practice, basically what I learned from my time at the RE and that I'm implementing now in a professional setting. So first of all, let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. Short background about myself. I'm from Gothenburg, Sweden. I lived here for 20 years of my life before I moved to Greece. Sports has been a big part of my life. This is me playing hockey at a young age. That's the sport that is closest to my heart, and have also been involved in other sports such as football and floorball, etc. And graduated from high school in Sweden, and this is a graduation hat for those that are not aware of the Swedish high school graduations. And after that, my adventure started when I moved to Greece, because my father's work took me to Greece, and we moved in 2013. I decided to attend DRE. We did some research and found that DRE would be a very good option for me and for my studies. I will never forget my first day at DRE. I lived in Paleofalero at the time, and I was supposed to go to Aia Parskivi with bus and metro. It started with me going to take the bus, which never arrived, and had to go else in, with a cab to Sintagma, to there take the metro. I jumped on the correct metro, but realized it was the wrong direction, ended up in a complete different part of Athens, and had to stress, run out, go to the next one, and finally, miraculously, arrived to DRE on time. So this was in September 2013, and I remember my first class was English, and the first student I met was a guy called Panos. He's a very good friend to this day, and he noticed that I was not from Greece, and he said, "Don't trust anyone here." And I didn't take his advice, and I went on to have the 5 best years of my life. So I started studying as a management undecided major, and it was because this has been the red thread through my academic years, that I didn't know exactly what I wanted. So I wanted to have as a broad of an education as I could before I decided on what exactly to emphasize on. So I was a management undecided, and then after 2 years, we had to choose an emphasis, and I chose operations management, basically because it was the best of the ones that I saw at the time. Still struggling with the thought that this wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know either what I wanted. So from a gift from the heavens, the sports management program started, and I applied right away. And as Dr. Livadi mentioned, I was also part of the Sports Management Society. I served 1 term as the president and 1 as a vice president. And, organizing events, doing bake sales, trying to promote the program, both within DRE, but also, of course, more importantly, outside, to try to get more students in, taking part of Business Week. That is, much like this one, a fantastic event. And we wanted to invite as great speakers as possible. And I think we did that. And I have written here, take part. And, for the students now that they study sports management specifically, but another major too, really join the society. You can make a difference. And it's really important for the program itself and for the recruitment of more students. I also want to talk a little bit about internships. It's a fantastic way to learn what you like and dislike. So in the sports management program, there is an option. I checked it, so I believe it's still the case, that you can take an internship for credit. And I did that, and I went to Lutraki at a sport camp and was able to work with them for international wrestling events, for international handball events, volleyball events, national swimming competitions, and meeting people from all over the world and working with event management. Now, that was a fantastic experience, but also maybe events wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. Now I know that, and I didn't have to apply for a job afterwards. You get this opportunity during your studies, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And if, of course, you can do the internship for credits, that's a win-win. But even if you decide to go with another class for your electives, I think you should try to, during your summers or when there's time, to jump on the opportunities for internships. I also did an internship at Costa Navarino. I know there is a speaker on the agenda as well from there. Fantastic place and a great golf course, and learned a ton from there as well. And moreover, it's great for your CV. It's great for networking. And there are people that have worked in these places that I'm still in contact with and have helped me a ton during my career. So some key learnings that I've taken from my time at the degree. So this speech is called From Theory to Practice, and I just took some examples, because sometimes you're in class and you're thinking, when am I ever going to use this knowledge that I'm learning right now? And the fact is that you will, of course not everything, but most of it. So I checked the sports management degree, what courses are offered, and took some examples here that is on the screen now. So professional communication was one class that I took, and public speaking is something that all of us at some point feel is not the most comfortable. We go outside of our comfort zone to give public speeches, but it's super, super important. It's also professional communication in writing. You will be writing emails, you will be writing maybe sales pitches. You will give presentations both internally and externally. So this is a course that I've learned a ton from and that I'm using every single day. Also in my podcast that I will talk about a little bit more later. Sports marketing. In my opinion, every company is a marketing company. If you're selling goods or services and no one knows about it, then you will not sell anything. And nowadays, I saw there is also a social media course. I mean, the digital landscape is changing. We're having different, it's a TikTok, is it Instagram, is it long form, short form, writing, whatever it is, the marketing class is super useful, and I'm learned a ton that I'm still using to this day. And of course, as it is, as I said, it's ever changing, so keeping up with the news, but the sports marketing class, really great. Finally, social issues in sports. So I'm currently working at a company called Bauer Hockey. We are selling ice hockey equipment. For those of you that says that doesn't exist in Greece, I can prove you wrong, because I have been playing in Greece when I live there. So there's a very, very small ice hockey community there, but it does exist. But to the point of social issues, the hockey has gotten a bad rap for having macho cultures. It's also seen as a sport for more upper class or privileged citizens. So with Bauer, we're working a lot with this. It's an expensive sport, so how can we help out? How can we grow the game? How can we reduce racism? How can we get more people into the sports? And there's so many social issues that is running sports. I'm also with my podcast working together with the Sport Integrity Global Alliance and talking about a lot of issues, social issues regarding integrity, which is also really important. So just 3 examples of courses that the theory provided is just fantastic and that you will have very good use for in your professional career. Also, as I mentioned before, take part in activities. Jury is offering a lot. You're having this that we have right now, Frontrunners. We have, as I mentioned before, Business Week, and there are several other activities for networking and for learning and helping for writing your CV. And there is so many things that you can take learnings from that you should. And the CV that I wrote in Jury is still the template that I used when I got my job. So take part in activities. Again, I can't stress this enough. Please, if you can, jump on an internship opportunity. It's great. It will give you so much. And the networking part and the learnings that you might, if you take an internship, as I said, what do you like and what don't you like? And you might skip a couple of steps afterwards when you have graduated, because then you already know a couple of things that you like and don't like as much. Networking, again, with these events, you have the networking tab in the Frontrunners website. Use that. Go to the LinkedIn profiles. Just, as long as you're being professional, as long as you're being polite, everyone is willing to help you and reach out. Something again, I will go into the podcast a little bit later. I've spoken to over 120 sports management professionals, and you just need to reach out, be polite, be professional, and they will help. And finally, use the facilities, and I don't just mean the bathrooms. I mean everything that is offered. Jury has a world-class facility, and take use of this. And you have the library filled with knowledge. You have for the sports, you have all the sports facilities, all of these things that you can use as well. So just very short, I work for a company called Bauer Hockey. We produce ice hockey equipment, so skates and sticks and protective gear. I started as a customer service representative, has transitioned now into the sales team, and I'm currently working as an e-commerce specialist, working with our website and e-commerce business in the Nordic region. So that would be Sweden, Norway, and Denmark and Finland. So the podcast that I've mentioned a couple of times now, during COVID, I found myself with more time available. So I decided to do this project that I've wanted to do for a long time, but never got never did it. I had this thought and I never executed on it. So in 2020, COVID hit, everyone worked from home, no activities offered. So I decided to start sports management podcast, and just this interest and this love and passion for sports and sports management that really grew during my time at Jury, to do something with that. And I did. So in September 2020, first episode was with Dr. Asimakopoulos, also an esteemed speaker at Frontrunners 5.0. Fantastic for me to have such an esteemed speaker on my podcast, and it really gave it the credibility from the get-go. So what have I learned from the podcast? Again, networking. You can reach out, as I said, to people more experienced than yourself and take learnings from them, if that would be through email or LinkedIn. But just, it's a great networking tool. Access. This is something that I've have to pinch myself sometimes, because if you don't have something, I can hide behind the podcast in a way, reach out to someone who I'm really interested in and learn about their life. If you don't say that I'm having this podcast or I'm having this blog, if you just reach out as yourself, then I've had, coaches for teams, they will not take half an hour just to chat with someone. But if you have this brand behind you, you get this incredible access. Personal development, so many things I've learned. I have no background whatsoever when it comes to journalism, media, or anything with software recording. So, just a learning journey for me. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try. Public speaking, that's, as I mentioned before, it's something that we have all found difficult at times, but you just need to throw yourself out there and do it, and it does get easier with time. Learning new skills, not only communication skills, it's researching for the episodes, it's software, it's editing. So a whole new toolbox for me that many of the skills that I use in my regular job. So this is something I'm doing completely separate out of my job at Bauer Hockey. And then I've written content is king. I really think that it's, you should, whatever you do, if you have a passion for something, write a blog or have an Instagram page for that, start a podcast, do something, create content around it, because that's what's buzzing right now. And that's skills that for whatever company you will work for in the future, that will be incredibly beneficial to have that behind you and to have learned those skills. And of course, it looks nice on the CV that you're doing something else except for quote unquote just studying. You're doing something extra, or just working, you're having a project on the side. Always looks good on the CV. So slightly ahead of time, just to sum up shortly, at DRI, what did I learn? You can implement theories into practice. So DRI is offering a world-class education. I'm so happy that I made this choice. It really fell in my lap. My father got a job in Greece and we moved with the family. This wasn't planned for me to move abroad, but it's the best thing that happened to me. I got a world-class education. I found friends for life, and it's just been fantastic. But back to the point on implementing the theories, the world-class education at DRI is offering great courses, and the theories that you learn there, you will be able to implement them into a professional setting in the future. Of course, not all of them, depending on what line of work you decide to do, but most of them will be extremely beneficial. Take part in activities. You're having the societies, as we spoke about before. Take part in that. It's such a good learning opportunity for you, but also you help the program to grow as well. And that is, when you are in the program, that's better for you. And then again, do at least one internship, even if it's for credit or not for credit. It's such an investment in the future to get working experience before you're actually applying for jobs, and also learning what you like and what you don't like as much. And then take every opportunity to network, really reach out. If anyone wants to reach out to me, on the last slide, I will have my information. Just shoot a message, whatever. I will answer. The same here. We have the networking tool in the Frontrunners 5.0, or just reach out, and most people will take some time out of their day to help out, as long as I said, if you're professional and polite. And again, use the facilities. It's not always you get the library. You have this free access to all this research that you can use not only for the but for a learning. As I said, I'm doing a lot of research now for the podcast, and a lot of studying for a test or studying for an exam is also the process of learning. How do you learn? How do you study? You will study, even if it's unofficially for something at work, you will have to learn your skills, and just learning that through the research process is great. And then we have the podcast. Again, create content. Content is, I mean, it's everywhere. It needs to be created. Every company is doing it. Just to have this, even if you're not in the marketing section of your company, it's a great thing to know. Networking, again, can't stress this enough. It's said a lot, network is your net worth and so forth. It really is. It's opening doors for you. And my final question on the podcast is always, who from your network do you think I should speak to in the future? And why do I say that? Because I know who I'm interested in speaking to, and I can reach out to them. But if I have someone who can make an introduction for me, then I'm more than halfway there already. Personal development, have learned a ton about myself, about public speaking, about all the technical things that goes on behind having a podcast. So a lot learned from that. And then I really believe that consistency beats talent. So this goes for everything. As long as you don't give up, you can't fail. Just continue in whatever you do. This can be your studies or your work. And this is really the case for the podcast. It hasn't been perfect. It didn't start perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but I have released according to schedule for 3 years straight. And as long as I'm consistent, it's not going to fail. And finally, it doesn't have to be perfect, whatever you do. If you're waiting for it to be perfect, you will be, paralysis by analysis. Of course, you cannot just jump blindly into things, but if you're waiting for it to be perfect, you will never start. Whatever you do, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just know enough, so to speak, and then get going. So thank you for taking the time. There is a couple of minutes left. I don't know if anyone has some questions. Moreover, if someone wants to reach out to me, please do so. I will answer to everyone. My LinkedIn and my other social channels, just send me a message. I'm on all the social platforms, and my email is marcus.filipsson@hotmail.com. Thank you.
Well, Marcus, I always have questions. What are you saying? First of
I knew
all,
you would.
I'm going to let Dr. Zumaka know that you said marketing is everywhere, because she's the one who says, I'm going to make marketeers out of you. You probably remember that.
Yeah.
Second, I'm glad that you looked into our new program. You know that the programs are validated every 5 years. So when these 5 years come, we do have a lot of work, but we're excited because we can make changes. And you'll probably be happy when I say to you that a lot of these changes were coming out of your senior exit survey. So, you guys suggested a number of things that we were able to implement. And now we have more level 6 options that with sport-related content. And therefore, we are very glad that you took the time, to do this survey, etc. My first question is, since you are coming from a different educational system, how difficult it was for you. Of course, this is not a Greek system. The RE doesn't follow the Greek system, but it is a combination of the American and the British one. How difficult it was for you to adjust, and what would you, if you had to take the senior exit survey again, what would you change?
I wouldn't say it was too difficult to adjust. I haven't attended a university in Sweden. I went to high school, which is slightly different from the university. So I really would have started fresh anyway in a Swedish university. I liked the setup with the American system. It never really was something that I felt was difficult in terms of structure or unclear in any way. So, and I mean, there are a lot of nationalities at the RE, and I guess that proves that the structure works and is something that even wherever you come from in the world, that it's easy to adapt to.
Okay.
And then to the exit survey question, I honestly don't remember everything exactly what I said in that survey, but I'm happy that that we are heard, and I think that's important for the students to know as well, that they can make a difference, and that's why I emphasize the society so much. In general, I would just say, to continue, as you said, every 5 years to make improvements, because the world is changing and the sports industry is changing, and the marketing, to mention Dr. Chumake again, that changes as well. So, just keeping up with trends and to be not to be outdated, as you're doing right now correctly. I think that's really good.
Okay, and one more question. How difficult was it for you to break into the sport industry in your country? And if you have any friends that they've been trying to do this here, if there were any differences there?
Yes, so we were 3 people, maybe we were more, but 3 people that I know that we graduated together. We actually went to 3 different countries. So myself went to Sweden, and 1 stayed in Greece, and 1 went to Germany. And I think that in Sweden, it wasn't too difficult to get a job in sports. There's a lot of opportunities, I would say. One of the reasons that I left in the first place was a language barrier for me, since I never managed to learn Greek fluently, although my wife is from Greece. But in Sweden, I found that there were opportunities, and of course, I don't have the language barrier here. As I understood it, in Germany, it was a bit more difficult. So to find a job, although, of course, football or soccer, or what do you say, is popular, it's changing. It's different from country to country, of course. But in my case, I was really lucky to get the job I'm having now in hockey, since that's my passion. I applied for a lot of other jobs. Of course, you don't get everything, but in the end, it worked out really well for me.
Thank you very much, Marcus. It was so nice to see you again. You remind me my first days at URI. I was a part-time instructor teaching you Olympic Games and mega sport events. I don't know if you remember anything from that. It was my first time too. So, but I was, I was so glad that I was here, in your graduation with the first group of students graduating, and I was, welcoming them to the professional world. And this is something I will remember. You are going to always be, like the first children. It's always, you remember them, and they are very special to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.